Hello traders, today is the 31st of May. My name is Neville Hornsey and today I do a trade update. Okay, we're currently long the Australian dollar versus the yen, but before we get into that, we're going to look at the Forex heat map. We can see that the Chinese yuan is currently the strongest currency across the board. The euro is the weakest. The US dollar is closely following the Chinese yuan. And we could also say that about the CAD and the Australian dollar. All right, so the bottom left-hand corner is turning more green, top right-hand corner is more red. So we are looking for equities and commodities to keep going higher today. We've also got the US market coming back online as they were essentially away for the Memorial Day yesterday. If we go to a Forex economic calendar, looking through this week with the focus on the Australian and the yen, we can see that we've got Australian GDP quarter on quarter tomorrow, looking for a drop in that GDP data down to 0.6%. However, that's probably not going to change the RBA's decision on to raise rates in the coming week. Activity on the sentiment indicator for Australian dollar versus the yen, we can see that 59% of traders are trying to short the Australian dollar versus the yen, even though the yen is weak and the Australian dollar is strong, and it has been for quite a while now. Going into data overnight, if we look down, we did have, well, if we look again at the heat map, we can see that the New Zealand dollar is the weakest. Normally, the New Zealand dollar follows the Australian dollar, so there must be a reason why that New Zealand dollar is weaker. And if we just look at the headlines, we can see that at the end of the day, we had a little bit of RBNZ news. This was about insurance, so not really market moving. We did have New Zealand building contents for April dropping down to minus 8.5% from the previously revised high of 6.2. So that's a massive sort of turn of events there. Going up a little bit more, we can see that we got into this where it says the RBNZ was to raise the OCR by 50 basis points. That's kind of given, and that normally would give the New Zealand dollar a bit of a boost. But then we had the Bank of New Zealand, or the National Bank of New Zealand here, their own activity index dropping down to minus 4.7% for this month. Previously, it was 8%. So that's a massive turn there as well in economic data. And again, their business outlook is further reducing down to minus 55.6 from the previous minus 42. So overall, New Zealand economic data was bad. We did have Australian building approvals. They came in worse than expected. And Chinese data was up. So I think the Australian dollar at least is basically right on the back of better than expected Chinese manufacturing PMIs. So going back to our chart, the strategy is we wait for a close below the Bollinger Band lower bound. Then we wait for a close above the 9-period moving average here in the white. As long as the 9 is above the 200 here in yellow, then we were looking for a sort of continuation in an uptrend. Obviously, we've had a correction this time. Normally, we just have like a pullback. We're now back up above 91. The yen pairs have been weaker for most of the week, and Australian dollar, like I said, is rising as we get closer to that GDP data. If we look at the Australian dollar versus US dollar, that is currently trading in the 4th and 5th of May sort of range. This is affected by the FOMC decision on the 4th of May to raise rates. You can see the next day we had a big sell-off. If we get back above 0.618% retracement, above the 0.734, then we are right into this sort of supply zone here at 0.74, the low of the 21st of April. If we get back above 0.618, then I think we push through that little supply zone and then take out the 0.77. However, we've got the 200-period moving average here. So, potentially we just touch that tonight, or, when the GDP data comes out, and then we sell off because we are in an uptrend here. From the 12th of May, we are in this channel, and these channels generally break to the downside in the same way that a channel to the downside, so a descending channel, breaks to the upside. So I am looking for a pullback at some point, which could affect our trade in the Australian dollar versus the yen. Looking to the left, 59% of traders on this platform are trying to short the Australian dollar versus the yen. So, we are, as a contrarian, we are looking for those guys to get stopped out. If they were to get more bearish, then that would accelerate this trade to the upside. We've got a risk to reward of 1 to 2 currently. I will close half of the trade, at the end of tonight, ahead of that GDP data. I will then move the stop to break even. In fact, I can do that now. But I'll wait until the end of the day to actually close half of the position, and then we'll let it run up until this low here, which is also from the 21st of April 2022. I would like to see, prices carry on going higher, but for now, I just wanted to get to the profit target and then see how this trade sort of pans out. So currently, that's what we're looking at. Australian dollar to keep appreciating, and the yen to keep depreciating. We've got the US dollar versus the yen also starting to look as if it's going to go higher. So if we just go to that chart, you can see that's got back above its sort of 9-period moving average. If we close there today, then I'll probably set another long on that one because that's got further to move to the upside. Looking at the pound versus the yen, that has been in a consolidation period. We did have a signal to go long at this level here. So 161.567. I've been trading that on the lower time frame because obviously Australian dollar versus the yen, GBP versus the yen is looking like a very similar chart at the moment. So I don't want to be over leveraged on the yen. Euro versus the yen is also doing quite well at the moment. That had the same sort of setup as the Australian dollar versus the yen, and yeah, we could have taken that trade too. I've been trading that one on a small time frame, in line with this daily time frame. All right, that's the trade update at the moment. That's what we're doing tonight. Good luck today, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.